Battlefield 2042 has been a mess since the day it launched. Now we're hearing the excuses, and we have a little bit of an insight on what went wrong. Hi, welcome to Zgadgetreview. Battlefield 2042 was supposed to be a renaissance for the franchise. It was supposed to bring Battlefield, the franchise, back into the forefront of modern gaming to compete with Fortnite and Call of Duty and every other multiplayer game that you can think of. Well, that dream, that promise went up in flames when the game finally launched. The game launched missing tons of features. The game launched with tons of bugs. The game launched in a state that should have never actually launched. This game should have been delayed for at least a year before the game came out. Things are so bad right now that the game has had to delay its first season. Technically, the game right now, as it stands, doesn't have a season in place. So the first season of the game that was going to bring a bunch of different gameplay and cosmetics and things like that has been delayed because EA is working fiercely to fix the game, or at least that's what they'll have you believe. At this point, things are so bad that the player base on the game is dismal. There's very few people playing the game right now. The other issue, or the other sign that things are really bad, is the fact that during an earnings call, EA did not disclose how many copies were sold. Usually, when a game sells well, even if it's having issues, EA will tout that and shout it from the rooftops in order for people to know that the game did well. We have a little bit of information on what happened within the development of the game due to a town hall postmortem call by EA on Battlefield. And the first thing that we have here is Laura Miele, or Miel, I'm not sure how you say that, EA's chief studio officer, who led the discussion on Battlefield 2042 by acknowledging EA's wider successes, both past and present, but said it's really important to acknowledge when we have misses, Miel continued. This is certainly the case with Battlefield launch, which failed to meet the expectations of our players and also clearly missed our own expectations. And yes, things were bad from the beginning. I remember I did a mini review or opinion on what the game was after playing hours of the game. And the video that I did, you can see in the description section or up here. My final take was to not spend money on the game, to wait for the game to actually get fixed before you spend any money. Miel then talks about how old the engine Frostbite is or was at the time, and that it took 18 months to pretty much rebuild the engine for the game to work well. This comes from Xfire. All new tech. It was basically a new engine. They went back. The Frostbite version they were on was so old they had to go back and update. So it was basically putting the game on a new engine. Add up all this new innovation, all of this ambition for the new project, and then you add a global pandemic halfway into the project where the game teams had to work from home. We ended up with more new variables in development than we have ever experienced before. If that isn't a reason to delay a game farther than I had already delayed it, I don't know what is. If you have, as we said, a global pandemic, which everybody had to deal with, okay? So we heard this for the past year, which is why so many games are coming out in 2022. So, okay, that happened. But then also you had to change the engine or update the engine to a point that is pretty much a brand new engine. All these things happening means that the game isn't going to be ready for release on the time schedule that you had given. Meaning that the game should have been pushed, and probably Battlefield 2042 should be getting released this year. Not in 2021, but in 2022. During the summer, EA decided to launch a Battlefield 2042 beta. And of course, when it's a beta, you expect bugs and things that are not going to work great, but at least you get an idea of what the game is going to be. Well, people went into the game, played the game, and got an idea of what the game could be. But they did say that there were a lot of issues with the game that needed to be fixed before it came out. A lot of people also said during that beta that they didn't know how EA was going to make the game work in such a small amount of time before release. It turns out that they knew it wasn't going to happen because the amount of bugs reported for Battlefield 2042 out of the beta is the most bugs that have ever been reported for a game in EA's history. Oh, and another reason why the game didn't perform as well as they hoped it would, well, Halo Infinite multiplayer's release. This comes from Xfire. According to Miel, the comparison between both games was not favorable because Halo Infinite was a very polished title, whereas Battlefield 2042 contained bugs and wasn't as polished. So what you're saying is that people play Halo Infinite multiplayer because it was a polished experience, because Microsoft Xbox decided to delay the game for a full year before releasing something like the garbage that you released. And so players realized, hey, Battlefield 2042, very, very buggy. Clearly no one cared about what they put out. And Halo Infinite, clearly the developers did their job. Clearly the developers bought more time when they needed it, and they gave us a good experience. What does that say? It says that maybe you should have delayed freaking Battlefield 2042. That's what that says. What we have here at the end of the day is another company that put out a game who did not care about the state of the game because they believe that people are going to be stupid enough to buy the game and to just play it and deal with all that crap that the game had. Well, now there's a petition in change.org with over 214,000 signatures asking EA for a refund on the game. This is almost 215,000 signatures as of the day that I'm shooting this video, which is February 18th. So that gives you an idea of where we are right now with this game. Right now, I feel that EA should maybe pull the game back, which I know it's not going to happen because EA, and refund people their money, do a new relaunch of the game as a free-to-play game, as it should have been from day one, because there's nothing about this game that people should pay full price for. Nothing. Zero. Battlefield is a strong enough brand, in my opinion, that you could do that, where you could pull it off the market, apologize, give people their money back, and then do a relaunch of the game all over again, fully fleshed out with everything that it should have from day one. Again, free to play. That to me will buy you some time, but also buy you some good with the community and the people who are Battlefield fans. And now that we have this internal information, we know that they knew that this game wasn't going to be what they promised to be. But once again, gaming companies are lying to their consumers because there's no one and nothing that is going to hold them accountable except the consumer. I think we're getting to a point where companies need to realize that if they continue doing this, the amount of trouble that they're going to get from the consumer is higher than the rewards that they can get for putting out a game like this. And I think, again, the only way that we can do that, the only way that we can teach these companies, show these companies, is by not buying their products or boycotting their products. It really is the only way anything's going to change, because we, the consumers, are the ones holding the bag, and enough is enough. What do you think about the new information that we have on Battlefield 2042? Have you gotten to play the game? Did you spend any money on the game? I will also include that change.org petition link in the description section in case you want to put your signature on it. That's it for me. Go ahead and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. go ahead and hit that bell so you can be alerted every time we have new videos. And thank you very much for watching.